to run that bass low.
Hey, what's going on, guys? VT here, and this is episode V, or episode 5 of the V podcast. I'm titling this one the Virtuous and Vigilant Vindictive Villain podcast because we got quite a slew of people here. Some returning guests joining me again today. Eli, the GameStop manager, otherwise known as Dragon Leader 33, as well as Glacier, who is the site runner, owner, boss of Gamers Extreme with some great non-biased game reviews, all sorts of news and stuff. So welcome them. Good to have you guys here.
Good to be here.
I want to be known as the boob villain from now on.
The boob villain. All right. Well, the BV. Well, we can handle that.
That's right.
I like it. And all right. So we got a lot to talk about today, especially with the whole Sony press conference. And in case you guys are wondering, that's going to.
What was that? There was a conference?
There was a conference.
No way.
It was
sure?
small. You know,
All
only
right.
like 3.7 million people watched it, so whatever.
Is that it? Oh, wow.
Yeah, but that's going to be talked about last, so if any of you guys are watching want to skip ahead, look for it. But we're going to get right into it. Glacier is the only one among us who has a Wii U, so he gets
What
a little... Yeah, right? He gets a little one-up on us, and you got to try the Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate demo, correct?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, I didn't get to play a ton of it just yet. I've still tried
Well, then
to...
shut up.
All right, fair enough. No, but... that was a quick topic. But so far with Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, I've tested out both the Wii U and 3DS versions as both demos were released on Thursday. Pretty much, it's tough for me to say. I've never been huge into the Monster Hunter series, and I know I'm going to be, people call blasphemy on it, but from what I've seen so far, I've tried Monster Hunter Tri on the Wii, and with Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, it feels more or less like the same type of gameplay style in terms of the gameplay speed and the controls and the whole kind of atmosphere and feel to it. Visually, it looks pretty nice. Nothing too astounding, but for what it is, it's not bad.
Yeah, that was my biggest thing with it too. Like, I was watching a lot of YouTube videos on it, like I said, mainly of the Wii U version, and the characters, the monsters looked pretty good. Everything else just fell on its face, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, it definitely looks like just an HD upscaling of the Wii version. It looks a little bit crisper, but it just doesn't do anything to astound me visually. But at the same token, seeing it on also the 3DS, where visually it's almost on the same as the Wii U version, probably the fact that it's going to be a cross-play game is the reason why it can't be so graphically intensive on the Wii U at the moment, just because it has to still cater to those who are buying it on the 3DS and being able to play a similar experience.
Yeah, that's kind of disappointing that it's, at least in that opinion, it's being held back by the 3DS, you know?
Yeah, it is in one way, but in the other aspect, it's great to see that Nintendo, actually, or Capcom rather, has been working with Nintendo to try to push a cross-play element, just like Sony does with their PS3 and Vita at the moment.
Oh, definitely, no, I completely agree. And some other news going off of that, apparently you're able to, they're integrating this sort of ad hoc party type thing, but less functional, into the whole 3U universe. You know, be able to play the 3DS version online with the Wii U LAN adapter, which is kind of cool.
Right.
But yeah, apparently you can't play the Wii U at the same time, and you can only set up a lobby as a Wii U player, not a 3DS player, which also kind of sucks. But it's good that they're really pushing for that whole, you know, you don't want to have to buy a Wii U, you can still buy this and, you know, go to your friend's house or something like that. There's
Right.
more options, basically.
Right.
So, definitely good. But so yeah, good to know that it's still kind of. I mean, I didn't expect a whole lot of change. It's Monster Hunter. They only changed it so much. I still don't like the whole swimming thing.
They changed the monster names. That's
that
count for something.
Yeah, don't even like. Did you see?
Sorry?
Did you see what they changed?
I'm sorry.
Hubbernaman 2. They changed it to Nibble Snarf.
It should have been Yogi.
You're right.
like my name still.
You should have called them up and been like, no, this is what they're going to be.
Hey. No, that was... they would have been paying out the ass to license my names, alright? Trust me.
Completely agree. Anyway, Nibble Snarf, just stupid. Moving away from that, but in more Monster Hunter news, they released a new Monster Hunter 4 trailer, which is also coming out on the 3DS in Japan. And that game, I don't even know what to think about that. Like, have either of you seen that new trailer or any of the trailers for that?
All I know... Oh, go ahead.
I haven't seen shit on it.
It's bad for the best.
Probably.
Honestly, I feel like it's a little bit of an identity crisis, and I feel like they're shifting Resident Evil elements into Monster Hunter.
Yeah, total pull from left field, but yeah, I can see that. No, I completely agree though with the identity. Like they just, it's not Monster Hunter to me. It really isn't. They're trying to make it. It looks like to me when I was watching some of the fighting, they changed up some of the moves and like it looks like they're doing, like trying to get like an MMO like flashy move things without all the flash. Like characters are flipping and spinning and shit, and there's just like no colors or it's just whatever. I don't know. The whole running thing, I mean, jumping on monsters' backs is cool, but the game, I'm not gonna lie, looks pretty shitty. It really does. Like the environment's never been great in Monster Hunter, and you still see that you still in the 3U, but it just looks worse in this one. And I don't even know. It's like they're trying to cater to the whole zombie theme too that's been going around recently.
Which is
past few years. Yeah, because they have like that new monster which apparently infects other monsters and you kill them and they come back to life. I don't even know. That's what it looked like to me, and it looks stupid as hell.
Well, that's why I mentioned like it's trying to pull an element from Resident Evil because it's going to take the whole zombie element. It's going to try to capitalize on that as like a new big thing for it. Whereas I personally am so completely done with the whole zombie theme in any game or form of media. I think it's really going to just die out at this point. It's just really monotonous that every game or every form of entertainment has to rely on a zombie theme to become popular.
Yeah, I mean they're trying. I think the ones that I don't know if this is going to die out. I think the ones that really are good at it, like Call of Duty, are going to still prevail. I mean, I know
zombies, yeah.
Yeah, I know Eli and I love us some Call of Duty zombies.
Oh, I mean that's it. Like there's what other zombie thing do you really go for anymore?
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's more just along the lines of Capcom realizing that they have a money grabber again, and with their recent failures, more or less, of games being released, they need to have something that people will buy, and what better than Monster Hunter for Japan?
Yeah, they're gonna buy it no matter what. They don't even have to see it. They hear Monster Hunter, they're gonna go for it.
They hear Monster Hunter, and they're gonna buy it. Exactly. So that's what it's coming down to, probably.
I mean, they probably throw in the tagline Monster Hunter Teletubbies, and it's gonna sell like hotcakes over there. They're not even gonna look at the game. They're just gonna see Monster Hunter written in there.
I mean, did you see that Poki Poki Aru Village thing? Like, that was basically the same thing, and that's still sold apparently. I don't even know what's up with that. But
I mean, when you have Resident Evil, $20 at retail already, something's not right. You're having problems. Yeah,
because they're prepping up Resident Evil 6 Undead Ultimate Edition down the line.
Gold Edition. Here we go.
Undead Ultimate Gold Supercharged Edition. What?
Yes.
With move controls because we were too lazy to incorporate it the first time.
Because everyone has a freaking move.
Yeah, so much that we don't even sell them new anymore.
Oh, God.
There's that for you. Put it into perspective.
That's so bad. That's so bad. God. All right. Okay. Moving away from Monster Hunter, as much as I love it, but we gotta get some good stuff. Some other news this week. For all the music fans out there, another kind of fad that's sort of been dying away recently. Continuing that trend is Rock Band. They're stopping DLC as of April 2nd. They have over 4,000 songs on the store that you could buy and purchase, which is insane. Personally, I think it is. And it's just, I don't know. I mean, I don't know why they're stopping it. I guess I didn't really read into it that much. But any guys' thoughts? Like, there's always going to be songs coming out every day. They could keep doing it, making more money.
Honestly, I'm actually impressed it's lasted as long as it has. Because, like you just mentioned, the music genre has been dying away little by little. So seeing that it was still getting DLC every week was actually pretty impressive. But, well, like all good things, everything comes to an end. So,
Yeah. Well,
you know,
the thing that kind of grabbed me is like I was reading the article and they were saying that it's just the end of DLC, but they still want to do another Rock Band. I'm like, I don't really understand why you're coming from there, but maybe they want to just put more focus on that.
I guess one of the reasons too is if they keep doing DLC, they technically won't have a reason to release a new game unless there's a new peripheral for it.
Yeah.
So they would probably need some sort of a track list exclusive for their upcoming game that's unannounced.
That is probably a pretty good point.
Add in a saxophone.
Ooh. You'd have to play it naked.
We'll do it.
But
trophy for that?
yeah. No, the cool thing though is a lot of the songs, about like 1,000 of them around there, a fourth of them are going to be 50% off when this thing goes down. So if you guys are looking for any Rock Band songs, make sure you hit that up. And just some clarification too, which this is also kind of weird. Should be mentioned that it's stopping for PSN, but not for Xbox. I probably should have said that at the beginning, but because Harmonix is responsible for PSN, but Xbox, like the XNA, so they can handle it. I don't know.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Very weird.
It's whatever. I mean, who still buys shit for it? Honestly.
Yeah, it's probably a very select market.
Yeah,
They're paying a lot of money in licensing fees, and they're not getting nearly much of it back. So it's why it doesn't matter. Like there hasn't been a new game in years, strictly because that they oversaturated the market with it.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah, you have it, and I mean, on average, you buy what the people that still play it. Which I don't know about you, but I have nobody in my friends list that plays it. So, you think maybe a song a month. It costs what, $2 usually? So, they're not making any money on it. So
Yeah.
Fair enough. Other news, not really news, but more of just an exciting thing. I know, Eli, you've been looking forward to this. The Final Fantasy. We just saw like pretty much a quick shot of a little bit of gameplay of Final Fantasy X HD on the Vita, and it's been said officially now that it's coming to Vita and PS3, but that's about it. But still, that's exciting.
They showed a quick render video showing some of the renders in HD, which, quite frankly, I don't know if it was just the video quality or what, but they didn't look that great. So I'm kind of worried about that. However, going back and looking at, there was a thread that I looked at on one of the forums I go to. It's like 150 screenshots of comparison shots, and you could definitely see the difference in that. The video itself, though, didn't look that great, so people might be a little confused as to why it's taking this long to put out, and it still doesn't look good yet.
Yeah, it's been in progress since 2011 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's been Square's just stupid right now. Oh my god, they're doing so many just dumb things, and they're having issues with this. They're making a third Final Fantasy 13, which nobody wants, and they're just being dumb with things, and I don't know what they're thinking. Like they have so many different projects going on, and not enough people to do it. And
I know, none of them are getting done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're trying to restructure and put everything into one project, which is fine. But then the ones that people actually want, they're not focusing on.
Yeah.
They're focusing on stupid shit like Final Fantasy 13-3. Who cares? Nobody cares. So it's just like, okay, give us the stuff we care about. The Final Fantasy 10 HD, the Kingdom Hearts 1.5.
I was just about to say Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy Versus.
Yes.
Versus has been that's not even coming anymore for at least another couple of years. You're going to see that very well into the PS4 cycle at this point.
A lot of people were speculating that it was going to be a launch title for the PS4, actually. So that was, if they would have pulled that off at this conference, or maybe they still are. I mean, we're not E3 has not happened yet, so we don't really know what's going on with that. But I mean, if that hits as a launch title, they're gonna make waves, definitely.
Yeah,
so,
I don't even understand why they bothered to show. Not gonna lie, I don't know why they showed up to the conference. The dude came out and he was just like, "There's gonna be a new Final Fantasy game. See ya." I'm like, okay,
I mean,
great. That's not news, man.
No, it was that tech demo, and that tech demo was impressive.
Yeah.
But when you're not announcing anything, you're announcing an announcement. People don't want announcements of announcements. That's just wasting time. That's what it is. I mean, there's stuff that, okay, who here did not know that a Final Fantasy would be on the PS4? Anybody? No? Oh, well,
common
look at
sense.
that. Exactly.
You
So, I
breathe
mean,
oxygen.
when you
Good.
have somebody that shows up and says, oh, we're making Diablo 3 on your system, that's something we care about. That's something we want to hear. Now, I mean, we're getting into the whole PS4 conference stuff, which we're going to get into
That
later.
was my bad. I
but
segued into it, but
still, I mean, that's what it's going to get into, and we'll have talks about all of this later. But still, that's it is what it is. The tech demo was impressive. Revealing something at E3, that's going to be exciting. You're building a lot of hype, so we'll see where it goes from there. But get your 8 projects you have now done, because we need something. They want something, and not Final Fantasy 13-3. We don't want that.
that's for sure. I lost to that as soon as 2 came out. I was like, Final Fantasy 13 1 was all right, but
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, Square used to be this company back in actually, I wouldn't go as far as saying the Super Nintendo era, more or less, when Final Fantasy really kicked out, where it was just this company, you see the brand, and you knew it was something that was of, like, utmost quality.
it's always been high and graphical. Story and...
Yeah, well, that's the thing, too. It was always about, like, heavy-driven storylines that were really engaging. And then the PS1 era, they really just were, like, they were sitting on a gold mine of titles.
Mm-hmm.
And they were pushing them out, and they had numerous projects for the PS1. I would say, if you look back, it's like it wasn't just Final Fantasy. They had like the Legend of Mana series that came for the PS1 again. Then my personal favorite SquareSoft title, because I'll admit I was never a Final Fantasy fan. Never got into them. That's also because I just don't like turn-based combat in games. That to me just never appealed. For what they are, though, they are cool games. I definitely see where the fan base kicks in. But it's funny, when we had that PSN outage back in, what was it, 2011?
Something like that.
I finally got to sit down and play one of the PS1 classics that released in the PSN, which was Parasite Eve.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not I'm not big into RPGs at all, but that was one of the few games that always had my attention. And sure enough, I sat down and played it. I'm like, wow, this seems phenomenal. Like, I really got engrossed in the whole game. And then I never got around to playing the second one yet, even though it's on PSN, and I did buy it. But I also played Third Birthday, which a lot of people weren't crazy about, but I still ended up really enjoying. And it's funny, I see Squaresoft still like pushing out Final Fantasy, but I really think that Square should really look at Square Enix rather, should look at exploring their other franchises that they've established in the past and bring some of those back as well. Like saying a new Final Fantasy is coming out, it's gotten to the point where it's like a new Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed coming out. It's like there's other franchises that you can bring back and explore to kind of revitalize some of the older market.
Yeah, and a lot of those are wanted. I mean, right now there's a lot of like HD remakes or revamps or just completely bringing back a series that you had way in the past, and people love that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So definitely good. They need to get on their shit, basically.
Well, I mean, there was a time in the PS1 era where anything with SquareSoft on it was basically golden.
Right.
That's just the way it was. Once the merger with Enix hit, it was hit and miss. Now, and then we have this, company that we have today, which is just blasphemy compared to what Squaresoft was. So it's just they need to just get their shit together is what it's coming down to. But you want to make money? Where's the Final Fantasy VII remake?
Oh God. Oh.
That's gonna be your savior. Where's Kingdom Hearts 3?
Yeah, those are the record sales type of games. Like, you release those, not even just for the business aspect, but just the amount of like fans that would storm to retail to go pick those up.
Exactly, and I mean you're wasting your time on this Final Fantasy 14 fuck up that you had, and because you want to try to save your name. Your name's already fucked. Nobody cares. Release something that people want now. Yeah. You want to save your business. You want to save your name. Put something out that's quality. That's what it's coming down to.
Yeah, that Final Fantasy 14, I think that's entering like a third beta now or something like that, like a revamped beta.
Well, the relaunching of the game was already launched, is what it was.
Right, I know, and it was terrible.
And then, yeah, exactly. And so now it's supposed to be coming really soon, which we've been hearing for months, and that's all we get from them anymore is real soon. And then it's real shit, is what it is.
Oh, jeez. So, all right, yeah, Square Enix, get your shit together. In other news,
topic of the day.
Yeah, the theme of the day.
Yeah.
So other news, really disappointing actually, in my personal opinion, because again, Sony needs to kind of promote this more, especially with the PS4 coming out. But the Vita got a price cut in Japan, or announced a price cut in Japan. It's like a 33% drop of the 3G version and a 20% drop for the Wi-Fi, and both of them are the same price now in Japan, or will be starting February 28th. And so this started, of course, a lot of rumors like, oh, sweet, like price drop coming for US, and Sony's just like, nope. Directly said, no, sorry, it won't. I'm like, what? Because, I mean, both you guys know, like, Eli and I both have Vitas. I don't know. Do you have a Vita? You do?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Got day one.
Yeah, so we're on the same boat, but, like, it just did not take off at all, like, anywhere, pretty much. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't know. I'm thinking they're really trying to push for it in Japan, obviously, get it out there, especially with the upcoming PS4 console, but I don't know. Like, to get it to sell in the U.S., you got to do something more than just make games for it. You're going to have to do a price drop, because this is overpriced for what it offers right now, at least in my opinion.
I mean, there's nothing that's making you buy one right now.
Right.
Like, why did, we spent a good, 100 hours playing an old Monster Hunter game on it.
It was great.
That was the most used my Vita ever got. We got Ragnarok Odyssey. I played that for, a week and a half.
Yeah.
I never even beat the game, to be honest. It's still there. I haven't used it in probably 4 months.
Damn. I mean, I still use mine every day, but not for, like, long gaming sessions.
Granted, I don't have nearly as much time to play anything as I used to, but, I would have to find the charger, because I don't even know where that's at anymore.
Oh,
kind of
balls.
a thing. Exactly. Like, it's one of those things. Like, I don't even know where my Vita is right now. To be honest, I'm looking around the room. I don't know where it's at.
You're hurting me.
Who knows? I might not even have the damn thing anymore. I don't know. But there's nothing there. And so, I mean, the price cap for Japan, is it good? Of course it's good. Price drops are always good. Is there anything worthwhile that's going to make them buy it? Not yet. Probably not. You don't have a Monster Hunter. You don't have anything that appeals to them right now. I mean, you have stuff coming out. Soul Sacrifice is going to be amazing.
Yeah, that looks sweet.
There's stuff like that that's going to be great. But right now, not really.
Yeah. But, I mean, this is one thing I was thinking of, too. Like, it's about $214 February 28th. And, the whole nice thing about Sony systems is that they're not region locked.
Right.
So, if someone wanted to buy one, you can just import it, pay a little shipping. It'd be cheaper. Work pretty much the same.
I guess it depends on how much the shipping would be, because then you're pretty much looking at, a close to $300 system again, which is what it's at now.
I mean,
could buy it used for $250.
Yeah. Depending. I mean, I know when I imported, the Monster Hunter and bought something else from Japan a little while ago, shipping wasn't actually too bad. It was about like 8 to 15 in that range. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, not fast, obviously. But.
Right. Traveling halfway around the world,
Yeah. But so that happened, basically.
The thing with the Vita is also, and this goes for Sony in general, though. I love the company, but they just have to advertise their crap a lot, because they're banking on the fact that, we established ourselves with the PS1 and PS2, so people know about the PS3, they know about the Vita, like they know about this stuff, they can go out and buy it, but it doesn't work that way. Right. There's a new generation of gamers out there. The old generation, they'll know about it, but they also want to know, what does it entail that makes me want to go buy it? Like Eli said, he's like, there's nothing there that makes me want to go out and buy it immediately. Like, yes, all three of us, we did purchase it more or less at launch. Mm-hmm. Actually, yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of the Vita.
Yeah.
I actually tweeted the picture I took of my setup when I actually bought the Vita day one with my 3 games in the box and everything. But, at first I did regret buying my Vita initially, just because there really wasn't a lot for it at the time. It wasn't until more or less when the PlayStation Plus kicked in, and when, honestly, the PS1 compatibility for me.
Yeah, it turned into a classic machine is what it was.
Right. It's like once it started getting more of its full-fledged features, then it started standing out a little bit more. And it's funny, a staff member of mine was asking me a couple of days ago, saying, I'm thinking about maybe getting a Vita. Is this the right time to get it? But I told them originally it was the price cut in Japan, but yeah, well, Sony kind of gave North Americans the middle finger with that one by saying nuh-uh.
That's pretty much.
They said they're just the problem with the Vita too is they need to bundle it with a substantial memory card. The first wrongdoing with the Vita that the PSP Go did superior to any other model was including a flash memory built in.
Yeah, and you really need a lot of memory for the Vita because they're having this big push for digital, and it's great. I love having my digital games on the Vita because there's no like waiting time for every time you turn on the Vita, it'll like install the manual game that you have in there or something, and so digital is just great. But damn, that shit takes up a lot of space. You need that 32 gig stick,
and that should be the minimum, and that should be at a more substantial price. At this point, I didn't buy a 32 gig yet because honestly, I know they're going to release a 64 gig down the line, and that's the one I'm going to buy
for $200.
Fuck that! I'm not buying it.
See, I don't know. Like, I went all out day one. Like, as Carl knows, I imported stuff from Japan for the accessories that I wanted. I bought the Vita day one. I bought the 32 gig stick day one. And then, granted, I didn't get filled until the PS1 Classics came about. But once that did, I have probably 40 PS1 Classics that I have. So, yeah, it's gonna get filled. Like, it's what it will. Now, granted, okay, I work at GameStop. I get a bit of a discount on things, so I didn't pay full retail for
there it is.
For the stick.
Secret's
Now, for
out.
the systems, no, the systems we pay full price because the companies don't make anything selling new systems. We don't. But for the accessories and stuff like that, yeah, we make a little bit. So I actually get a bit of a discount on that. But, regardless, could I have waited 4 months or however long it took for the classics to be put on there to actually use it? Yeah. But if I had the money at that time, why wait? Might as well just get it out of the way. That's kind of what I was doing. But, for a lot of people, they're not willing to spend that kind of money. You're looking at a $300 system, a $100 memory stick, and then you still don't have a game.
Right.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do now? And that's why the Plus bundles are actually really really good offers because you actually get your instant game collections that they got going on. Yeah. So especially if you have a PS3, so you're looking at quite a bit of stuff at that point, and it's just one of those things that it's. Sony's all about trying to add value in terms of bundles and not actually dropping prices, which is why you saw so many bundles pop up for, you had Madden, you had Assassin's Creed, you had Call of Duty, now you have a Plus bundle. There's just so many different SKUs and all of this stuff, and for a lot of people it just gets confusing after a while. Which is the same thing that they did with the PS3. You had 8 different versions of the PS3. Nobody knew what was going on. Nobody, it's just too much.
Which one's backwards compatible?
Exactly.
None of them.
Exactly. We have a big chart. At work, it's if it's this size hard drive and this many USB ports, it's backwards compatible. If it's this size hard drive but only has 2 USB ports, it's not backwards compatible. All this
hilarious.
shit, it's retarded, is what it is, and that's where Sony needs to get some things straightened out with that. As far as the price drops go, they said because it is a region by region basis, which is true, it is, but I figure what Sony's thinking is this. They sold enough in the U.S. right now to not have to drop the price yet. Japan, they're being slaughtered.
Yeah.
You have Monster Hunter being announced on their competitor systems in Japan. That's where your money's at, is Monster Hunter.
Leaving you.
So,
no doubt.
If people know they don't even have one announced for the Vita, they're not going to do anything. They are going to go with the competitor that's, cheaper as well than the Vita.
Yeah.
So you have something cheaper and you have something with Monster Hunter on it. What else do they need?
No.
So, that's why
Definitely
they decided, we need to cut it here and try to start getting people over here. I mean, are we going to see a Monster Hunter? If we don't, I will be completely surprised.
Yeah, I'm expecting something at E3, not going to lie.
Probably. I'm really hoping so. But right now, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't, because, this whole Capcom, Sony butthurt thing they had going on, but...
Yeah. Can't kiss and make up.
I guess not. I guess they don't want to make money. Because for Capcom, that's all it's going to be about. Well, for both companies, actually. If you have Monster Hunter on both systems, who's winning? Everybody wins. Everybody makes money.
Yeah.
I mean...
So, why not?
The thing with the Vita, though, I mean, in terms of the price cut, Yeah, it definitely doesn't help them if they don't do a price cut, especially 1 year later. It would help for some sort of an incentive. But at the same token, they've been doing the bundles. The bundles is a smarter idea. And I don't mind the fact that they're doing bundles because at least if you're spending a certain amount of money that you're actually getting stuff ready out of the box to use. Whereas when we bought it day one, we spent $250 or $300 depending on the model with not even a memory card or the game. Now it seems like you can't even find the regular model without getting a game and a memory card with it for the same price that we spent. Honestly, if they could, the bundle idea is probably a smart route, and I would say that makes up for the lack of a price cut. The only thing is that they need a bundle with a game that actually makes sense.
Which, yeah, they don't really have a whole lot right now.
I don't see that happening until Killzone Mercenary. And they have to release a bundle for Killzone Mercenary. If they don't, they will hurt themselves severely.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that game. I think everyone that's a Killzone fan or first-person shooter fan should look into that because it's going to be, like we've said before, there have been first-person shooters out for the Vita and for handhelds, but I think personally that this Killzone Mercenary is going to be the one that actually feels like a first-person shooter on a handheld.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Good. But we're getting sidetracked here, and we still got a lot of stuff to cover. So before we wrap up the recent news, one of the bigger games that recently came out was Metal Gear Rising, Revengeance.
Yes.
And you said you got to play that a little bit. I did a little demo coverage, and I thought it was pretty sweet. I liked it a little bit. But why don't you tell us a little about your first impressions with playing the game?
Okay. Basically, Metal Gear Rising it's pretty cool so far. It's a nice take on the Metal Gear universe by being much more action intensive.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple things that really stood out for me. First off, visually, based from just the demo alone and now seeing the full game, visuals are really stunning. Game runs at rock solid 60 frames a second, no matter how intense the game gets. And everything's just very detailed. The textures and the environment are ultra sharp. The character models are nicely detailed. And of course, when you're slicing through the enemies in the blade mode and actually cutting through specific spots and seeing the blade, the actual body parts falling apart, the way you're actually cutting is really satisfying. At the same token, certain things I'm not crazy about are it's a great game. The storyline, especially coming from Kojima Productions, and I know Kojima was behind the story for this, it's actually lacking so far. I'm really just not engaged in the story at all, and that's a first for Metal Gear Solid, or not Metal Gear Solid, but Metal Gear in general. I'm just playing it, and I'm like, I just don't give a crap about what's happening right now. I don't care about the characters. I don't care about what's happening. I don't even know what I'm doing other than running around and killing people, which, if that's what they were going for, it works, because that's more or less what you're doing. It's cool that they try to incorporate stealth, although the stealth really does feel kind of forced in there. It doesn't really feel like it was a thought-out element.
Yeah, that was my general feeling of it, too.
Yeah, it's there if you want to, test it out, but that's about it. It's not like you can attempt playing the game to be stealthy if you really wanted to.
That's too bad. I feel like if you're going to go stealth, you got to really incorporate it somehow. Otherwise, it's just going to fall apart.
Yeah.
You get frustrated with it.
And honestly, I mean, the combat, it's cool, it's flashy and everything, but it feels a little button mashy for me.
Mm-hmm.
While I'm fine with button mashy combat, I don't know, something about it just doesn't feel like it's a rewarding combat system in terms of, compared to something like Ninja Gaiden, where it's so much more strategic and more okay, I have to know when to block and when to attack. This is more okay, well, I could just parry by pushing forward and pressing square at the same time, and the game automatically knows when an enemy is about to attack. So the time frame you could do it in, you could be 4 seconds early and just sit there parrying, waiting for the attack.
Just does it for you.
It just does it for you. And I'm playing on normal mode, and I'm just I haven't died except for areas where the level design might have been poorly implemented. There's some cheap deaths to be found that it's just
that's present in most games though too.
Yeah, it is. It's just for some reason it felt more evident in the very beginning of Rising. In the first level alone, I just sat there and I think I died at the boss fight. I'm not going to spoil anything. There's a certain part you have to kind of do in a boss fight where I just sat there and I died 5 or 6 times because of crappy camera and poor direction of where you're supposed to be going.
Yeah, that's too bad. I mean,
But
those things happen in
Yeah.
a lot of games, but it's bad when that's like the first taste you get of it too, you know?
that's the thing. It was the first taste, and as I've stuck with it, it's gotten a little bit better and better. But again, that's my initial impressions. I do plan on posting a review within the next couple of days on the site.
Yeah, so definitely look out for that, guys. I'll post a link to his site, like usual, in the description below, so check it out and keep an eye out for that. Now, all right, let's get to the big news, as we have all been waiting for. So earlier this week, February 20th, as I've been reminding everyone on the podcast, Sony had a big press conference, which was the reveal of the PlayStation 4. And so we're just going to kind of go down, pretty much just hopefully cover everything about it. Starting off with, of course, some specs about it. And you're going to forgive me, chime in, you guys, to do a little better job, but I don't know a whole lot about it because I'm not big into the whole computer parts and everything. But basically, what's inside is an 8-core AMD, they're calling it the Jaguar APU, and a next-gen AMD Radeon graphics processor. So all I know is 8-core is great, AMD is damn good, and Jaguar sounds awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. They also have 8 gigs of dedicated memories, which is new to consoles, not new to PC, definitely needed. An enhanced PC GPU, which they said is easy to develop for in the beginning and great for long term. And of course, it comes with, you know, the whole Blu-ray, Wi-Fi, new Bluetooth, HDMI, and USB 3.0, which is pretty awesome.
right.
So, nice little bundle. Obviously, there's tons of more specific specs that I could ramble on, but I got nothing. It's a beast, is what I'm trying to say.
I mean, the one thing I would just add on is in terms of comparison to the PS3. The PS3 was a 256 megabyte RAM, whereas the PS4 is going to be 8 gigs. So you're already right there. Whether you're tech savvy or not, you know it's a substantial leap in terms of memory.
Oh, definitely. And of course, it comes with a new revamped controller, and you guys should be seeing all this on your screen right now. So if you're not watching during this podcast, go to the YouTube right now and watch it. But the controller is pretty sweet. Like I had my doubts about it at first, and that was pretty evident in the earlier podcasts, just because of the few rumored images that came out, which proved to be true. But after seeing it from multiple angles and being held and everything, I think the controller is actually going to work really well, and it really fits, again, with how they've kept it true to the console's name, you know?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I agree wholeheartedly with that. I mean, at first when we were seeing early screenshots of what was supposed to be a development kit controller for the PS4, I wasn't sold on it at all. I thought it looked hideous, to be honest.
Yeah.
But once I saw it on stage when they were showing it off, and Mark Cerny had it in his hand and he's showing off how it looks and talking about everything it'll be able to do, I was really sold on the controller. It seems a little bit more rounded on the edges.
Yeah, it seems a little more, I don't want to say ergonomic, but it seems to, like, more ergonomic. Like, it seems to fit a little better for some reason. It's not so sharp on the angles and all that.
And you know what? I mean, so I've spoken with a couple people, and they said that they weren't crazy about how they actually changed the design of it. Honestly, it's not like they really changed it all that much. They still made it look like a DualShock. It's what more or less you would expect, but it was changed enough where it's a nice change. It seems like it would be a really comfortable controller. The triggers look a little bit nicer. The control sticks look pretty good.
Yeah, they've added the triggers have a nice little inward concavity to them. The analog sticks now have, I don't know what you want to call them, but I'm calling them bumps. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know.
Like indents, actually.
Yeah, thank you.
Just dips. There's people that play the Xbox. They'll be familiar with that, with the newer style systems. Newer style sticks. Yeah, those have them. They're just nice, like compared to the PS3 ones. I don't know. Like it seems like they made almost what I would call the perfect controller. If you look at, did you guys watch the Jimmy Fallon video where he played Killzone?
I did.
Okay, so one, you can confirm that was actual gameplay because you can see how horrible he was when he grabbed the controller.
That was hilarious.
Two, when they were going over the controller, he picked it up and you could see a good side shot. Which did you guys buy the Pro triggers at all for the PS3 controller?
I have not, but I've thought about it.
Okay,
I've
but you've
them
seen
in
them
action.
on mine though, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so so when you see them and you actually get like that side shot of the controller, you can see the ends of them. They actually dip up, and so it has like a lip there that you can rest your fingers on. Unlike the PS3 ones where they completely just fall off and they're horrible. Because they are. I mean, they're pretty bad. Like without those pro triggers, they are really bad. Once you get those, it's just like it's just a whole new thing. So it's like they basically took those pro triggers, which was an attachment. They literally built them onto the controller, which is great. The one thing that people are getting kind of confused about that I've been seeing so far is the actual touch pad. It's not a touch screen. There's no screen on the controller. It's a pad.
Right.
Much like how the Vita's back touchpad is.
And I'm glad it's not a screen because that just wouldn't work.
Horrible.
That just wouldn't work.
And in the video, he mentioned the director. I can't remember his name from Killzone, but he mentioned how like the controller does have like the built-in speaker, which will have what? I don't know what that is. Okay. But he mentioned how the controller actually has the speaker in it, which has the it basically he said how like you can relay like the radio messages through the controller, which stuff like that's going to be pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I mean, complementary to that, it has the mic, the headset input there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all right in your hands, which is really nice. And hopefully it's not they're not skimping on that whole speaker or anything like that, because that could sound pretty bad and work pretty terribly if it's done wrong.
If it's not decent quality. I don't know, the mic thing I'm not as impressed about because most of my headsets are wireless anyway. The one I'm on right now is wireless, so I could really care less about that. I guess for people that don't have nice.
That's what I'm thinking. Like
it'll be great, but I mean there's a lot. They mentioned how each bundle is going to have an actual headset included with it now. So bravo for you guys for finally getting around with that.
Granted, it's probably not going to be the best headset.
Oh, I'm sure it'll probably be pretty close to Microsoft's throwaway headset. Just like you watched my unboxing video of the Halo bundle.
Yeah, that was great.
Literally, threw it away. But it was, I mean, even if it's just a throwaway headset, that means a couple of things. That means A, everyone should have a mic finally, which could be a bad thing at the same time.
I was going to say,
Yeah, it could be a bad thing.
Could bite you in the ass.
Right? You have B, you'll have more than likely a cheap headset that you could buy at retail finally. Because, I mean, going into any store and trying to get a headset for your PS3 that's not, complete shit, you're looking at $40 pretty much.
Yeah.
That's their Bluetooth, which isn't even going to get you game audio. You're getting just chat audio at that point. So that's not going to really do you much good for a lot of people. But like I said, it's got to be better than the Rock Band mics people use now. So
hopefully at least. Yeah, no, the controller, I think it looks great. It's got that new light bar in the front, which I thought I was going crazy because I was watching the conference and the lights went down and I saw a green freaking light up top and I was like, okay, all the pictures I've seen are blue, and yup, it's true, it does change colors, and you can see that on I think Jimmy Fallon was also. They had one green one on there too, or it was green at one point, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's great. Like as far as they're really incorporating this LED bar to work into the gameplay. Like it could like show health or when you're getting attacked or something like that. Or obviously the simplest thing would be like different color for different players in the same room.
That's kind of what I'm going with. I don't know too many people that watch their controller to see how much life they have.
Right. Well, and that's,
I'm not
I mean,
sure about
I was thinking about that too, and I was like, okay, so I kind of did like a little self-test. I was, playing some All-Stars, and then I would see where my controller was in my peripheral, and I was thinking, well, if it's like a gradient bar, like, no, I'm not going to look down to check it. But if it turns red all of a sudden, I'm going to know, like, shit, I got to get out of here or something. Or,
Right.
Someone saw me in a stealth game,
I guess it depends on how much light it actually emits. If it's bright enough to light up my face, yeah, it would work. But I'm one of those guys. I know my controller really well. I don't ever have to look at my controller when I'm playing anything.
Right.
So I don't know why. I don't know why that would actually be useful. I mean, I think a lot of people's fear was that it was actually the move, is what it actually was. And it sounds like with like that camera, if it's tracking 3D position, it's probably going to be it. But what I'm
they did say that.
about,
They did say that it's supposed to help use it for motion tracking, which is weird.
Yeah.
But that's cool. It's another thing it can do, is what I'm looking at.
What I'm wondering is if it's required. Do I have to be in front of that stupid camera with my controller because you know my setup personally.
Yeah.
Where the fuck would I put that at?
I don't know. Well, I mean, the other thing is that they're making a new camera, and that's supposed to be bundled with every PS4. And I don't know if you've seen anything on it, but it seems pretty legit.
Yeah, I mean, it basically looks like a Slim Connect.
Yeah, it is pretty much. It's for some little info for you guys listening. It's supposed to shoot at 1280 by 800 pixels and 60 frames per second. A little reference point: the Kinect is 640 by 480 and 30 frames per second. Mm-hmm. So definitely a huge step up from the Kinect offers, and should for all intents and purposes be a good functioning device. Hopefully, like you said, it's not required though, because that definitely, I don't think it would be, but that would definitely put a strain on some setups, especially like yours or people that don't have the space for it in general.
That's what it is. Like, I don't want to mount that thing to my TV just to be able to play my game. Like, you have Bluetooth, you have all this other stuff. If that's how you're cutting down on the latency issues and stuff like that, the PS3 works just fine for me. I'll take that, thank you.
Yeah, I kind of chuckled when they said, I'm like, we're going to remove some latency. I was like, I don't notice latency at all with my controller.
Yeah,
what?
I've never had an issue with that.
No, and that's why I can't understand when people go like, "Oh, well, the wired controllers have no latency at all." I'm like, you can put two controllers side by side. If I press the button at the same time, it's going to react at the same exact time.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I can tell you if you playing on the 360, because I've been a PS3 guy the entire time, I can notice latency issues on the 360 controller.
That's because it's not it's the 2.4 giga what's it called, the frequency it's using.
Yeah, which that makes sense, but for like the PS3, what issue?
Yeah,
it doesn't have it.
There was no issue. So I mean, I think they're just kind of blowing smoke at that one, but whatever. I just don't want that thing to be required to play games that don't need to track my 3D motion.
No, and I really don't think it will be. I think they're going to utilize it more for like Lair. Do you remember that game?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that game was shit with the trying to use the 6-axis. It was god awful. But I think with this, using the controller with like a move, it's going to be better. Granted, I'm never touching a game like that again, but still good to see some improvement there.
Right.
Honestly, the only game I remember Lair really did bum, and it's a shame because it shut down Factor 5, which was actually a great studio.
Yeah, it did.
And it was too little too late when they added the actual analog stick control for the game.
Yeah, a good, year later.
Yeah, exactly. But in terms of, I remember when I first got my PS3, the only game that actually had like solid 6-axis controls was Blazing Angels, the World War II plane game that I ended up buying. And it was great. I really liked that game. But I remember trying out the 6-axis. I'm like, wow, the 6-axis is actually good for this, mainly because the planes don't turn that fast as it is, so it actually feels responsive with the 6-axis.
Damn. Yeah, I mean, and I can see where. Eli, you think it might be forced? That's terrible because I just remember like there was a demo for Skate, like the original, like the first Skate for the PS3, and that had 6-axis control, and I tried it, and I almost threw my damn controller at the wall.
Oh yeah, because it's just shit.
It's not only did it suck, but it wasn't meant for that game. It just really wasn't. And if, like you said, if they try and force that, which I don't think they will personally, I think it's going to work out just fine. But if they do it, like that's going to happen, and it's just going to be a shitstorm.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm hoping, like I said, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's required to be somewhere in front of whatever you're looking at, which is gonna suck. But we'll see. There's still a long ways to go. It might not. It might just be able to pick it up wirelessly through the signal. Like I said, as far as the 3D stuff, I fully expect that to be right in front of it. But for just being able to play something, I hope not. But like I said, we'll see. I mean, there was there's like. I don't like having the motion shit, forced upon me in the first place, unless it's very subtle, and if you remember in Killzone, how to open some of the doors, you have to hold on the triggers and, like, rotate your controller.
Yeah, that was a little awkward at times.
I'm okay with that. I can live with that. But forcing something on me, it completely, like, that doesn't work. Or, you're also forcing the consumer at that point, because they have to have a first-party controller, which... Some people just don't like having first-party controllers.
Yeah,
there's people that have, like, the afterglows, and there's people that like the, the more 360 layout controllers.
I was going to say, those, like, those mixed controller things.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff, and, I mean, those obviously don't have 6-axis. So you made it so you cannot play that game now. So, I mean, you have to, you're limiting people. You have to watch that. It's always a slap on the wrist for that.
Yeah.
But
But in the complete opposite direction as far as limiting people, like the PS4 has some crazy new capabilities that just blew my mind at the conference. Just sum up a few before we dive into it. They have made a new low power mode, which is not new but new to consoles, where you can have it run on the 8 gigs of RAM and resume it later. So basically, put it into standby, pick it up if you have to go somewhere. There's also a second custom chip which allows for downloading the background or even when the system's off, so you can just download while you're away, which is great without having ruin your system, wear it down. You can also play games as they're being downloaded in the progress, which is totally awesome. The whole share button has we'll talk about that in a second, just crazy amount of stuff you can do with that. Smartphone and tablet integration using the new fabled Gaikai technology, which Sony apparently got the jump on. I think that's really awesome. What else do they have? The cloud technology with the Gaikai, and then remote play is another big thing, which I really am looking forward to that. Finally working is the proper way to say, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll hold your breath on that one. Remember they promised the same thing with the PSP.
I do remember.
And
yeah.
Look how that turned out.
It was sad.
Now, granted, this is a different day and age. Technology is actually here this time for it. But even with the Vita, you're not really. They promised a lot of stuff with that, and very little has came through with that so far. So,
yeah. But
I mean, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I have complete faith in Sony, as you very well know, but.
Yeah, they seem really confident about it too. They're saying they would be really surprised if it wasn't up and working by launch day for having almost all games be able to be remote played on the Vita.
I mean, Gaikai is they have stumbled upon something phenomenal with that. I think the purchase of Gaikai last year was a very smart move for Sony. It was a big risk at the time. They paid almost $400 million for this company. That added. Sony's not in the best of shape right now, so that's a substantial amount of money for that. And I can only imagine the amount of actually money they pumped into it at this point, on top of that money that they paid to actually buy them. So, they have a lot going on. But I mean, if Gaikai is legit as what they sound like, they have won awards for being the fastest service in a lot of different areas. So if that's the case, then Sony could be very well top place this generation. I mean, granted, we haven't seen anything from Microsoft still, but
yeah, still waiting on that. I'm holding my breath, but I'm not going to be disappointed if Microsoft comes out and blows Sony away, even, because that just means that's another good thing on the market.
Right, exactly. So I mean, I think Sony made a very strong case at this conference.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that people did not like hearing with the lack of backwards compatibility. Virtually none at this point, at least for PS3 stuff.
Yeah.
Everything going cloud streaming.
To me, they hinted to it a little bit. I mean, with the whole smartphone and tablet integration, and this is just me drawing conclusions out of nowhere. But they're saying, through this Gaikai technology, they want to be able to put PS1, 2, and 3 games on smartphones and tablets. As well as PS4 games, like bringing it to tablet, which is awesome. But I mean, if they're going to bring it to tablet, why can't you bring it to PS4? That's my personal thing. So I think that they're not going to. I think there's going to be backwards compatibility. We just have yet to hear about it and how,
Well, like they've officially said that there's not going to be any backwards compatibility.
Did they? See, I apparently missed that.
Yeah. After the conference, they did a shitload of interviews with people, and there was a lot of information that came out after the conference, with the fact that there will be no backwards compatibility with PS3 at all. They also said that everything you bought digitally will not be compatible with the PS4. So, right now, all of the shit that we have does not work on the PS4, which is making a lot of people mad, as you can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what struck me the most when I watched the conference. Once they said, actually after the conference, when they did it in the interviews, when they said that none of the PSN titles that were purchased can be played and it wasn't backward compatible, first off, my initial impressions was I'm not going to spend more than $350 on this console at all. And even that, I'll be honest, because I mean, we have more to get into, and I will say early on, I'm really still not sold on the PS4. But one of the reasons is this, because I own over 240 PSN titles. The fact that you're telling me I can't use that on my PS4 is a massive fuck you to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It is, because it's
Yeah.
like I've put thousands of dollars into the console. I've given the company. They should have a freaking gold mantle of me in their office because I've given them so much goddamn money.
I mean, you gotta, we are the hardcore at this, so our situations are a lot different compared to the normal user. But
Absolutely.
if we're feeling this bad about it, you can imagine how the people that only have 5 to 10 games feel about it.
Exactly. Those people, like, okay, well, either they could be up in arms about 5 or 10 games, or they could just be like, all right, whatever. Either they bought crappy games and they don't care,
Right.
or they could have bought Super Rubber Dub and that could have been the only game they bought for the PSN. But it's just like I heard that, I'm like, wow. I was like, so my 180 plus PS3 retail games won't work. My 240 PSN games won't work. My 70 plus PS1 games won't work. I'm like I heard that, and honestly, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stop buying content on there, and I'm gonna cut back on what I'm buying, because if I can't use if it's not future proof, what the hell am I investing it in?
And I feel like that's a lot of people's issue right now, especially with the PS3, still running strong. If they're buying all these games at $60 a pop, and they know that they can't play them on their PS4, why would they buy them? I think that was kind of I think that could be the thing that bites them, revealing this much information so early, is that, you have people that they know that stuff is not future-proof anymore. So, people's entire catalogs mean nothing now, which I really don't understand, because if I can play it on my Vita, why can't I play it on my PS4 as well?
Right.
It just doesn't make sense. They're making you repurchase stuff yet again, and it's just like, why? I mean, now there's a lot of different, things going on with that. If it's going to be more of a subscription fee service, kind of like Netflix is, but you get access to absolutely everything with unlimited streaming, I could see that working. But at the same time, if my internet goes down, I can't play anything.
Yeah, and that's been a big issue that I've mentioned with not even just Sony, with a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to this whole digital thing and this whole internet-based reliability. But if something goes wrong, like if there's a power outage and you run on a generator, but you only have room for your TV and one outlet, like, you want to play games, but you don't have access to them, that's a huge problem. Huge, hole.
And another issue with digital, and I could use this as a perfect example right now. I just received the review copy for Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 Plus for the Vita. Mm-hmm. And I can't download it because it's not on Sony's PlayStation Store yet. So the company told me, because it's not there, even though the review embargo doesn't get lifted until release day, we can't review the game. We can't even get the game to review because it's not on the store. Whereas if they just sent me a physical copy, but a lot of these companies are shifting away from it because it costs less money to just give them a digital code.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They feel like they can rely on that. But there's a lot of cons on digital over physical.
There really are. And I mean, I know, Eli, you've said it adamantly earlier, you love getting those steelbook cases.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be gone with the physical copies.
Well, I mean, and that's why we're not going complete digital yet.
Yet.
I mean, that's one of the many reasons, because people love their physical product. People are a lot more willing to pay, these high prices for something they can hold in their hand as to just getting a code on a receipt for the same price, because that's what's going on right now. They're charging you the same price for a digital copy over a full physical copy when you're not getting anything for it.
Mm-hmm.
They're making a lot more profit off of that digital copy than the physical copy off of you. Yeah. So, if I can understand if you want to offset the price to go digital, that's fine, but they're not. They're costing. They're charging you the same.
They're making a business move, is what they're doing, which is great for them and terrible for us.
Well, it's highway robbery, more or less.
Exactly.
It really is. I mean, think about it. I mean, the Vita, for example, we have these digital games. Even on the PS3, they've been releasing now full games digitally day one, the same day as it's in retail. But here's the problem with that. I love reading the comments online, and I love seeing, for example, months ago, actually no, probably at least over a year ago now, almost, where the Uncharted 1 and 2 came to the PSN. And I remember reading comments on the PlayStation blog about when they made that announcement, and like, oh, I can't wait to get rid of my disc and download 30 gigs of the game on my hard drive. And they weren't being sarcastic. They were 100% legitimately serious. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Have we gotten that lazy where you can't get your ass up and put the disc in the system, that you have to have it on your hard drive? Like, here's the thing too, day one release. So, for example, Mass Effect 3 last year came out day one on the PSN, and it came out in stores. But people there wanted to buy it on the store for $60 on the PlayStation Store and download 13 gigs into their system. And the time it takes to download that with the highest internet speed, then install it, you could have gone out, bought the game, installed it from the disc, and been playing it already.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that the PlayStation Store is completely unreliable for times getting shit up there.
Oh yeah, I mean, granted, they've been doing a lot better releasing that game at midnight.
Yeah,
but
I guess
even still, like, no offense to Sony, but your store and your network in general is ridiculously slow. Even for having a hardwired connection, which I do, but it's still not nearly as fast as what it should be. I mean, I can
completely agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not there. I mean, you have to for the regular person, they don't want to have to go about opening up ports and port forwarding and all this. Which, I mean, we're fine with doing that when you can. Now I know your situation is a bit different, Carl, where you
I have
can't
no control over it at all.
Yeah, but us, we can. At least I can. I can completely I have complete control over that, and so I can get very fast speeds for my PS3. But it's even with that, it's still not nearly as fast as my Xbox is. And I've had my Xbox for less than a year, and I can already tell you that. So it's just not.
And another issue I've been having with PSN within the last, I'd say actually the last year and a half, ever since more or less when the PSN blackout ended. And this was more recent with PlayStation Plus stuff. Now we're getting the full retail games, and that's great. We're getting full download versions of these games. And for example, BioShock 2 came out, I think, 3 months ago? And I've been wanting to play that game because I never got around to it. Now, every time I've downloaded it, it fully downloads and it fails, telling me that the data got corrupted, whatnot. And I could go through this process 4 times a day, and it will never install. Recently, I got a review copy for Fist of the North Star, Ken's Rage 2. And they gave me the PS3 review code, and I spent the whole week constantly downloading and trying to install this 9.3 gig game. Wow. And it would never go through.
Jesus.
So I was like, well, they gave me the review copy, and I can't review it unless I tell them that my review goes to the extent of trying to download it and failing.
Yeah, no joke.
And they ended up giving me the Wii U code instead, and I ended up playing it on there because it downloaded perfectly fine and installed, even though it was even more memory on the Wii, being 12 gigs instead of 9.3 on the PS3. But between that issue with the PS3, because a lot of people have been having that issue I've been reading up on, and the new PlayStation Store sucks.
Completely. Completely agree. I hate it.
Their network is, their network's okay. It's like I usually don't have problems when I play a game online. It's lag free for me in any game I play. But in terms of downloading, it could either take a game where it's like 30 minutes to download, or it'll take me 450 minutes.
Yeah.
For some stupid reason. I don't know.
I just had that problem just the other day because Eli, God bless your soul, gave me the God of War Ascension single player demo. And I was like, great, I cannot wait to play this tonight, upload it tonight, good to go, right? Well, it's 2.5 gigs, plus or minus a little bit. I was like, okay, that's not that bad. Took 12 hours to download.
What?
Yeah, and my internet is not that bad, all right? Not for long periods of time like that, especially at night when you let it go, and it just crawled along, and I would reset my PS3. I'd move, what little I could do, and it just couldn't fix it at all. It's terrible, and I get that all the time with it. It's bad, I don't know, just bad.
It is, and I mean, hopefully, Gaikai is the answer to that. Hopefully, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think with what we saw with the PlayStation 4, the new store that I don't want to say the new store, but the new interface and the way it's working with this Gaikai technology, son of a bitch, is
don't worry, tough one to say. I had issues with my podcast doing it too.
Yeah, but the whole way it's supposed to work, and in case you guys should be seeing it on the screen now, but basically you're going through this what looks like almost an Xbox 360 interface.
Funny how that happens, huh?
Right, and you're supposed to be able to see this live stream of games and trailers, being played, so you can see what the game looks like, and then instantly go into a demo for it. And that really speaks leaps and bounds of bringing this technology, how far it's come. Because being able to do that like reliably, which is how confident they seem, insinuated, obviously. That's just something special that I'm really looking forward to. I mean, and the Gaikai technology really takes over, especially with the share button, which we've yet to really touch on. So I just want to go there real quick. The whole share button, you're supposed to be able to push it, upload gameplay, edit it a little bit as you're playing a game. You can upload this gameplay as you're playing it so your friends can watch you. It's basically a live stream for your friends, as well as on Ustream for actual live streaming. And just it's supposed to be seamless, and your friends can come in and help you out, drop comments, and if you get stuck, just completely take over for you. All of this together with this technology just makes me think that there's something else, like there's something else going on behind it, because there's no way it could work that well.
I mean, and that's Gaikai. That's what they're saying Gaikai is all about.
Yeah, apparently.
It's literally that fast. And I mean, that's where your 8 gigs of this GDDR5 RAM comes in and all this other stuff. But it's, that's how they're saying how fast this actually is. And, if this is true, and I mean, once people get their hands on the actual console to see how it all works and all that, that'll be interesting to see, in real time. Because I mean, when they announced the PS3 and they went through the whole store stuff, yes, you can instantly download this and get access to this, and we all know going into the store that's not the case. Shit takes forever to load sometimes, and it's just ridiculous. So
search letter by letter.
Yeah, which
yeah, God, I hate that new feature. We can make a whole podcast on just that, but
we could.
We could.
I mean, it's. So I want to see people get hands-on with it, and go from there. But if what they're saying is legit and stuff is really that fast, then that's what I'm saying. They could be onto something. Now, I think it might cause a lot of damage to people that already do YouTube and stuff like that, because now you're just going to have so much more content.
And that's what I was worried about, because I'm like, I'm really starting to get, rolling with this YouTube thing, and all of a sudden they're going to come in and knock me right off my high horse. I'm done.
And I mean, you got people that have, hundreds of dollars in equipment, people that had PVRs like we do and all this stuff. I remember back when I bought mine, stuff kind of started to kick off from there, and everybody started to get into it. And, there's already a lot of content out there that doesn't need to be out there because it's just trash. So, and it's already hard enough to get your name out there as it is. So, now you're just going to have literally everybody that has a PS4 and an internet connection can do this. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting.
It is going to be interesting. I'm really curious to see how it's going to develop, because at the same time, the way I took it is there's still some limitations to this upload feature, at least, because they said you can use it it records like the last 15 minutes or something like that, if I remember correctly.
Which is, I mean, that's a good chunk.
It is. It's a match of a first-person shooter online, which is enough. But if you're doing Let's Plays or something like that, those are still going to be, or montages.
All PVR guys, for sure. That's going to be all for you guys. But, how many times and how many videos are we going to see of how to get X trophy?
Oh,
and that's what I'm kind of like, oh, here we go. Can't wait for this. Which is a great idea. And I mean, I'm sure I'm not the first one to think about this. But how, it's going to be great to see, I'm a trophy hunter guy. This is, I make videos of how to go about getting certain trophies and stuff like that. This is how, you do it. And you hit your share button and you reverse, in the last 5 minutes or whatever. Probably not even that. Probably a good 20 seconds, honestly. And, you go from there. But how many people are going to start doing that now? And I mean, you're going to
be overwhelming. I mean, at the same time, though, it's good to have that amount of resources for that purpose.
For sure. And I mean, it's a great idea. Little things like that is going to be awesome for. But, for people that are out there trying to find good content, it's going to be, there's going to be a lot more content is the issue now. So we'll see how it goes.
Filter through a lot of crap.
Well, here's the thing, too. I mean, that depends. You share it, but you're streaming it solely on the PlayStation 4, correct?
No, you can post it right to your Facebook and stuff.
Oh, wait, that's right. I'm sorry. Yes, no. You know what it is? I'm thinking about that interface that they showed, and when they were streaming a game to that interface.
That
streaming is
live stream chat thing and all that. Yeah.
Right.
But that's a whole different thing. But still, I mean, it'll be great for live streams. You can always live stream something now, I guess, which would be cool.
Well, yeah. I mean, but it's funny. For example, if I'm playing Ninja Gaiden 4, if that's coming out to the PS4, who knows? I could be playing that, and a buddy of mine could be watching, but if he wants to take over, it could give co-op a whole new meeting, and I could call it counter-operative, where he's trying to completely screw my controls and my combos by constantly pressing a button to jump in and take control of the game.
And that's where another issue. You're going to have those malicious people that are trying strictly just to screw your game up. Which, I mean, they said that they're going to give you complete control over that.
Yeah,
and
I was
turn
gonna say,
it off and on and whatever. But still, I mean, even if that option's there, like you're basically letting someone hack your game. Is what it is.
Pick your friends wisely.
Right, that's what it's going to come down to.
Don't flood your friends list with anybody now.
Yeah, exactly, and then you're getting into this whole live ID, your name, your picture kind of a thing. People don't like that idea either. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
that's dangerous.
Do you remember Blizzard tried that?
Oof.
Yeah. Look how well that worked.
Yeah, it didn't.
There's a lot.
It's trying to be too much like a Facebook, and that's a problem because while the PS4 is definitely going to be aiming for a more social integrity, it's funny, you look at this generation, and I just said this in my PlayStation 4 recap podcast I recorded on Thursday night, but you look at the PS3 and the Xbox 360, and they really brought about the whole online gaming aspect. Like, yes, the PS2 and Xbox One did have it, but it was never refined.
Right.
Whereas now we have that, and it's refined more or less, and we've actually gotten it to a point where it's a pretty sweet experience. But now they've tried, obviously, online being the big thing, they had to look on how to reinvent it. So it looks like Sony kind of went back to basics in a sense, if you think about it, because what they saw was, okay, well, we have the online gaming aspect. Now, what if we bring that feel of when you have buddies in your room, you guys all hanging out on a couch, playing the game on one TV. Now they're bringing about an online living room perspective where you guys can handle the controller if you guys screw up at a scene and somebody else's turn to try it and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And that was the vibe I was getting, especially when they were saying you could stream it so people on your friends list could watch, or not even on your friends list, it could be anybody. It definitely made me think like, wow, okay, so it's an online living room experience. It's kind of like an updated version of PlayStation Home already now, in a sense. So it's interesting to see where they're going with it. But yes, it's also questionable with just how it works, like under the hood.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that remains to be seen. As we've said already, like there's still a lot of time left and a lot to be said about what's going to happen. And I think that, all these things are really great, but like we've said, they have to do it right. Like it's got to be done just perfectly. They got to be very careful with it. And I think from what I saw on the conference, I think they have a pretty good idea of what they need to do and what they need to not do.
Right.
I really like the whole idea of the whole share thing. For the most part, yes, there are cons to it, but I think the pros probably outweigh it.
Definitely.
And you're right. That online living room feel, that's a really great way to describe it.
No, it is. I was just thinking about that myself. Honestly, yeah, that's actually a really good way, but the only issue I see with that, sorry to cut you off, Carl, by the way.
No, you're good.
The only issue I see with that is you would have to have somebody else with the PS4 as well. I don't know about you, but I don't ever play the same game someone else is playing. So if I'm playing a different game and they want me to jump in, is it going to suspend my game and then go into theirs? Do I have to have a disc for that?
That's what I was wondering. I was like, well, do we have to have that game? Or can we have another game going on in the background? If this thing's fucking powerful, I want to be able to make me a grilled cheese sandwich while I'm playing Diablo 3 and take over for you while you're playing Killzone.
Right. I mean, that's a great, I like the virtual couch, theme you got going on with there. I think that's a great way to describe it. But at the same point, then you're implying everyone has a PS4 as well. So they're probably busy playing something else, I would imagine. So how is that actually going to work?
Yeah. And I really think, I have faith that there's going to be a lot of capabilities for the PS4 to multitask. I really do.
That's what it's looking like, yeah.
I mean, with the fact that you can play games as they're being downloaded, which is just, honestly, to me, it's a little bit of common sense. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they're really thinking about that, and the fact that you can download in the background while the system's off, doing all these different things, it's got those 2 chips. I think we're going to be able to see something like that, where you can play, multiple games at a time. And with the whole digital thing that this seems to be pushing to, you're probably going to have your games on your console as well. Mm-hmm. So, again, remains to be seen, but I really am looking forward to, and I think we're going to see something along those lines. Mm-hmm. Going to be great, but as far as games go, there's not a huge lineup to start, but I think it's a strong lineup from what we saw at the conference. Do you guys have any favorites for what you guys saw as far as games?
Yeah, actually. In terms of favorites, I would say so far, definitely Killzone Shadowfall. Really blew my mind, especially when they started off with the visuals when you were on
That shit.
the ship. I don't want to say helicopter or plane, but let's go with ship. Yeah, and you just saw the whole city layout and just the lighting and the detail is just very stunning to see. I had to kind of rub my eyes and be like, wait, am I seeing that right? When the stream wasn't lagging. But yeah, I mean, Killzone looked great. I mean, if there's one developer that could showcase some really powerful graphics for a console, aside from Naughty Dog, it's Guerrilla Games. They really know how to
Definitely.
push the PS3's power. Well, PS3 and now PS4. Aside from that, I was very happy to see Evolution Studios take stage and show off their new game, which was Drive Club.
Yeah, that game impressed me. I'm not big into racing, but that looked pretty legit.
That looked great. I love the whole concept of team racing. I love the sleekness of the game. I mean, obviously the cars and the environments are ultra detailed, but the whole social aspect of it, of forming a real racing club and taking on other clubs and other teams.
Yeah, and they really branched off with the integration with the smartphone and tablets, as they showed on there.
Yeah.
Be able to set up a race on your tablet, and so everyone else can do it. It's completely for you there on the go, so you can keep in touch with your gaming, which I love my game to encompass my entire life, so that just works out for me.
There you go. So, I mean, Drive Club is definitely already another reason I would get a PS4 at launch if that's a launch day game. And then, honestly, the other game that impressed me a lot was something that we saw already at E3, which is Watch Dogs.
Right.
Every time I see that game, it really is one of the freshest new looking games out that's going to be hitting the market.
Yeah.
A game that's not a game that controls you, but rather something that you control entirely.
Yeah, I think that IP is just genius.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna stand by this a little bit because I was watching it on the live, the live stream and all that, and it looked pretty good. But at least at the very start, it's still, you could tell that, okay, yes, it's being developed for PS3 and PS4. I can see the PS3 in it,
Right.
Like that was just, to me, as the gameplay moved on, there were definitely, it looked damn impressive, I'm not gonna lie. And I love the whole idea of what surrounds the entire game. But I could still see it, I don't want to say being held back, but it looked a little offset to me, which, not a problem. I'm easily gonna get over it. But
Well, that's the thing too. I mean, they're trying to make it multi-platform, so it's going to be for the PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, and even the Wii U. Which, in all honesty, I think I'm most excited about the Wii U version of it, mainly because of the gamepad integration being your cell phone, I would imagine. So
yeah, I think that would be pretty sweet.
Yeah. So in Ubisoft, you know what? They're under a lot of flack from the whole Rayman Legends situation, and I don't blame them. I myself was one of the people that was really annoyed about that move. I've been very open-voiced about it. But I will say that in terms of a third-party company that's actually utilizing a console with the Wii U, for example, Ubisoft really is backing the Wii U. Zombie U is a perfect representation of taking the gamepad and making it this immersive controller that really is like a survival device for that game. And I could see the same type of love and labor being put into the gamepad for Watch Dogs, for example. So while the PS4 version will be visually superior, it'll be interesting to see how it'll hold off on Nintendo's new platform as well.
Right. What about you, Eli? Any
Well, I'm sorry, what's my name?
It's the BV, right?
I believe you just.
Yeah.
Well, you just turned me Muslim. I'm pretty sure. I don't know what you did to my name, but yeah, you did something crazy to my name I've never heard before. But for the record, my name is Eli. Not whatever the hell you called me. You called me something crazy. I was right. I was completely impressed with Watch Dogs. That made me a believer. Now, did you guys? Oh, I just thought I had a sidetrack there. Well, sorry.
Butterfly.
No, yeah. I said believer, and I thought of this whole believer thing, and they got going on with Justin Bieber, and I'm sorry. Whoa, completely screwed my day up now. I'm fucked. Anyway.
Sorry to hear
Jesus.
that.
Yeah, my day's screwed. Now, did you guys watch the PlayStation blog stream, or what stream did you guys watch? for the conference?
It was, I believe, the PlayStation blog stream. Actually, I shared the embedded video to my site, so I was streaming it from there. It was from the blog.
I watched the blog through game trailers, I believe it was.
Okay, yeah, I watched the game trailers one as well. I watched it on my phone when I was at work. Shh, don't tell anybody. And it was flawless for me actually. It didn't skip at all. So I don't know, how I managed that, but it didn't.
Yeah, it didn't skip for me either. I had to switch over from the official PlayStation blog one to that one, and halfway through.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
The game trailers one was phenomenal, so kudos to them. But afterwards, they did a post show with interviews from the people that were on stage, and they confirmed that what we saw from Watch Dogs was actually running on PC. That was not any of the PlayStation versions at all. That was completely PC. So, with that being said, I have complete faith that it's going to look just as good. But just an interesting note to kind of throw out there for you guys. Killzone, completely impressed with that. I didn't think I was watching Killzone at first when I saw, something other than brown. I was really impressed.
Yeah, it was crazy. The whole.
Yeah, I know, right?
Pretty sure that obviously probably takes place on Vetka, but
yeah,
colors and shit.
They have this whole they basically got the Gears of War palette going, kind of like how they did with 3 added color. That's kind of what happened with Killzone 3 added color, and now we have full-fledged color in this one. So that's exciting.
Very.
You already know the ones I'm going with. I will be a day one purchase of this system regardless, just because I'm a tech junkie and that's what I do. But I will be getting it day one. I told you already that I will be getting Killzone, assuming these are all day one launches. Killzone I'll be getting day one. Watch Dogs I'll be getting day one. And Diablo, if it's going to be a launch, I will get that day one. Now, I mean, granted, we haven't seen anything past, from E3 or what's going to be announced still, but those are the ones that really kind of stood out to me. I mean, obviously Diablo wasn't shown, but based off what I've already played of Diablo, I think MMOs on consoles are going to run great, just based on the controllers. I played DC. I played both the console and the PC version, and the console version played a lot better than the PC version did of that.
Really?
So, oh yeah. The controller layout was so perfect for it, and it just fits so well. So it's actually really you would be surprised because you would think an MMOs just naturally fit on PC, but try one on a console sometime, and you might be surprised.
Well, yeah, DC Universe actually I really got engaged in it. I was never an MMO person, but DC Universe, me being a comic fan, it really did feel solid on the console. It really, I forgot I was playing an MMO at points.
Yeah, because it feels natural. It just feels good.
It was very well done.
I played the beta before that came out long ago.
Right.
I played both the beta for the PS3 and the PC, and I was much more impressed with the console version over the PC version, which is saying something. So if they do it right, I feel like Diablo could be amazing on console.
I think it's really good. Diablo, it has that game style of, and I don't know if you guys are going to get this at all, but if you ever played Gauntlet, Dark Legacy, I believe it was.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's instantly what I think of when I think of Diablo, since I played both of those in the same time frame. And with that controller scheme, like you said, I think it's going to work really well. And I think putting it on a console, being able to get on and play with your friends like that, and with the PS4, on PS4 at least, with that whole chat integration and everything that they're bringing into the Gaikai technology, I think it's going to work really well for just that whole MMO feel. It's going to bring it to a new level, in my personal opinion.
And if it does well, I think it's going to open up a lot more games to try to move over to console for that as well, which could be awesome, because MMOs are awesome. They just are.
Yeah.
So, if you get more of them on console,
great.
And yeah, exactly. I mean, that's kind of. I'm sorry, I got a text message in it.
Okay, I was like, "What?"
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, now I probably have an angry girlfriend. So here we go. Told you my day was screwed, didn't I? Yeah. I told you, screw was just screwed. Day was just done from Belieber. So yeah, I think MMOs on consoles, I think they could definitely work, and if this will kind of be the testing ground for that, I think people are going to watch Blizzard closely with this one.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, could you imagine the next World of Warcraft on PS4?
It could take off. It could.
I think it would take off, and it just opens up a whole new market of the specific genre gamers coming to consoles that were maybe only PC before.
Exactly,
and
I think
that's
what's going to be the kicker.
Yeah, and that kind of fits with what I've been telling all my friends that aren't as big into following this whole conference and everything like that. We're like, okay, we've always had these, like two, I don't want to say rivalries, but essentially they're different sides. You have the PC gamers and the console gamers, and they've both been very different. But now with this PS4, the capabilities, the improved, everything.
The line, yeah.
Exactly. And you're going to see that directly with, right away, Diablo 3 coming to PS4. That the MMOs that always have been on PCs coming more now to the consoles, PS4, like that's just proof right there that it's really, they're blending together, and that's something that's really going to work out well for the consoles, in my opinion.
Right. Now, only thing I'm kind of concerned about is like almost everything that we said besides Killzone is going to be multi-plat. So now Sony faces the challenge of how do I sell a system with games that are on both?
It's simple. It does what Microsoft does. Actually, it's funny. I recorded 2 podcasts earlier this week. The first one we were mentioning about how if you look, Sony does need to market a lot, and we mentioned this earlier in this podcast. But look at Microsoft. They market a multi-platform game, making you think it's only available on the Xbox 360. For example, Dead Space 3, or of course the Call of Duty franchise, because that more or less was established on the Xbox 360 with Call of Duty 2 at launch, and then over the years it's kind of just always been that way. But it's been multi-plat, and it's always been more or less, it's the same experience more or less. But if Sony does that instead, Sony's got to market. That key word is marketing. Now I know they have a new marketing firm backing them up as of recently, so I'm hoping that if they're smart and they put a little extra money into it, even if they're financially in trouble, but they got to spend what they got to make it back. You got to spend money to make money.
Yeah.
Right.
You've got to market that. Okay, you have Diablo. Give me a multi-plat game that was in Watch Dogs. You've got to market specifically something that's for the PS4. It's got to be for the PS4. Where they can't have Microsoft taking it and being like only on the Xbox Durango 720, whatever it's going to be called. But
yeah, I mean they really have to show that through insinuation, obviously in these commercials, if you buy this game for this console, it will be better.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you kind of feel like that already, but you have to have something that's going to be enough. What's going to be enough that you would have to, specifically leave out of a version from a different console to bring over to that? And I mean, yeah, you're talking money at that point, but for a lot of people, that won't be enough because they're not willing to spend X amount of money for a new console plus the game where they can just buy the game.
Oh no, I'm not talking about the new console though. I'm saying you're saying that they're multi-plat games. I'm seeing it as PS4 and the new Xbox.
I'm talking about people that have a PS3 though, and to upgrade to a PS4.
Oh, then they
to
have
buy
to
that same game is the problem. Yeah.
Right. No, they need some more exclusives.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And I mean everything besides Infamous, Killzone, and Knack, and I don't even know if Knack was one of them, but are also on PS3. So at that point, why should I upgrade when I can just buy the $60 game over spending, I don't know, what price we're thinking at, but probably $300 to $500 for a console as well.
Yeah. Here's the interesting thing too, though. Every new console always has upscaled ports, as I like to call them.
Oh yeah, definitely. Look at the Vita.
Oh yeah, I know. Look at the Vita. I wouldn't even say those are upscaled ports. I say those are downscaled ports.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
Ninja Gaiden Sigma Plus. I'm like, what the hell? The game's not in 60 frames a second. What the hell is this crap?
Right.
And it just threw off my timing and just felt so weird playing it on there. Even though it was cool, I still enjoyed it. But I would never choose the Vita version over the PS3 version.
It wasn't a system seller.
Right, exactly. It wasn't a system seller. The thing, it comes down to exclusives. Sony is known for their exclusives.
Oh, definitely.
So just give it time. Like, for example, the only thing that's going to hurt, honestly, I don't see this system or the next Xbox, if it comes out this year, I don't see them selling too well this holiday season. The reason being is because while this may be currently the longest running gaming generation, we're still not 100% ready for a new console. Because when you see games like Last of Us coming out, and Beyond Two Souls, like, you just can't help but wonder, okay, wait, these games are coming out this year, and not to mention there's no backward compatibility.
Right.
And it's like you have a game so powerful like Last of Us. It's like, wow, we're still pushing out things that we haven't seen out of the PS3, and here we are with the PS4.
Yeah, well, I mean, part of that is because for the PS3 at least, developers are still figuring out how to use that damn thing. And they're still finding little, tips and tricks that they can use to develop these games to make them better. And you're absolutely right. I completely agree with you. We're not, ready for it. Like, we still could take advantage of the PS3 immensely. Like,
yeah.
like you just said, with the games that come out, that looks so great. Like, those games look amazing, and they're still using this new technology integrated into it. With the PS4, do we really, like, the PS4 might be great, but can we back it up with something just as great?
And here's the thing too, and I love seeing these comments online. People going like, "Oh no, we need next generation because we need to see things with better graphics." The last time I checked, the game wasn't about the freaking graphics. Right. The game's about the freaking game. You play the game. You pick up a play it. If it's fun, you're having a good time. You're not gonna pick it up and be like, "Oh wow, this game looks amazing," but it plays like shit. But I'm still gonna keep playing it because it looks amazing. No, it doesn't work that way. It can look as amazing as it wants, but if the game sucks ass, and there's numerous games I can think of, Crysis being one of them, it's there's no reason for me to play it if it's not fun. If it just looks great, that's fine. Whatever, it looks great. I'd rather watch a movie if that's the case.
Right.
If I gotta watch something rather than play it, you know.
I'm ready for this next gen. The visuals being not the reason. I'm more, we mentioned it earlier, of the actual console limitation itself. There's only so much the console can do, just because of the actual hardware based in the console. Mm-hmm. 256 megabytes. That's not gonna cut it anymore. It's just not gonna cut it anymore. Now, I mean, people, you have your Netflix, you have all these services that run, and they're great on it, which is awesome. It's just gonna be that much better for the next system, especially with the network. I think the network could use a big upgrade, and I think Gaikai is the answer to that.
Yeah, no, the network would be leaps and bounds ahead.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, just the connectivity in general of the actual features, being connected to X, Y, and Z at all times, which for a lot of people, that's a downside. That's okay. I understand that you want your privacy and you want all this and that, which, Sony has already said that there's going to be settings for that. Your gamer tag will be your name if you want it to be still. That's just how it's going to be, which is perfect. You better keep it that way because a lot of people don't want. I have people on my friends list. I don't even know A, how the hell they got there, B, who the hell they are, and C, why I still have them on there. So you can bet your ass I don't want them knowing my name, my dog's name, my girlfriend's name.
Not to mention where you live, what you're doing, what your job. Are you at the bathroom? Are you cooking a grilled cheese sandwich? You don't want
to. Except while playing Diablo, yes.
While playing Diablo.
Right. But I mean,
while shoveling snow.
Most of them, I welcome them because I would love to have some random shithead come to my door. Hey, we're friends on PSN. Hey, look at my shotgun. Because that's going to happen. I don't play that. No. Oh no, we don't play that. Not here. So, there's a lot of things with that. But as far as the actual console limitations, they're pretty much there. There's only so much you can do at this point. We're seeing the store, being redefined now. Don't be surprised if that's close to what the store looks like for the PS4, because it's probably.
I mean, it is very similar. I thought we did see it in the conference there, or maybe that was just the general interface.
Well, see, that's the thing. They didn't really show the UI of the actual system. They showed like the tiles things, but they didn't show anything. Go into that. Why didn't you show more of that?
Yeah, they gotta show something later, I guess.
Which, hell, they didn't show us the console. I thought that was for later. Don't leave everything for later. If you're showing shit off, show shit off. For God's sakes.
And that's the funny thing too. A lot of people were upset about them not showing the console, myself included. When we were live blogging the event, those times I was typing like, "All right, show the console now. We want to see what the console looks like."
Yeah.
And I knew they weren't going to do it because it was already like, it was already so far into like the games and like the developers. I'm like, they're not going to show the console. There's no way. And sure enough, they did it. And I figured because. At that point, they're like, all right, well, we have E3 still. We were just trying to build a little bit of a hype train, mainly for E3, which sucks because the hype train was all there. They had 3.7 million viewers.
Yeah.
Which, they had a ton of people watching this thing.
Right.
So, and their stocks went down after the conference because they didn't show the console, which it's amazing how that one thing can affect them. But Jack Tretton stated in an interview that the reason they said they could have shown the console, it's there, obviously. They said, but they chose not to do it because, and now this comment I wasn't crazy about. He said mainly the console is just this device that sits between the controller and the TV, and you're not really looking at the console when you're playing a game, which is true. But at the same time, I like to know what the thing looks like and where the hell I'm putting it on my shelf.
All right,
yeah, I want to know if I want to hide it away or I want to stare at it all the time.
There's two comments for that one. One, I shared with Carl yesterday, I think it was. They actually did an interview with CNBC, and there was a Sony rep that told the interviewer that there's something physically on the console that they don't want people to see yet. Now, I find that interesting of what that is. There's only so many things it could be, I would imagine. So
right, it's the Super Slim PS3. We kept it the same model with different chips in there.
that would be fucking funny. So if that's true, and there is something on the console that they didn't want us to see yet, that makes sense. I can understand that.
Yeah, it'd be a big giveaway, and part of this in my mind is, and sorry to cut you off, I'll let you get back to it, but like, Microsoft, they still have their, announcement. Their rumors are still building up. Their hype is starting to take over. So Sony still has to have something to come back at them when they finally release theirs too.
Yeah.
So, anyway, you were saying something else as well.
Yeah, there was 2 points. I got the first point across. Got interrupted on the second one. Now I can't remember the second one.
Deal with it. My podcast.
Yeah, I know.
No, if you remember, just
important, but I can't remember.
I'm sorry. We'll come back to it.
That damn important. I got the important one out, so that works, I guess.
Yeah, that was a big.
When the podcast is over.
Yeah, right.
But no, I mean, I did find it interesting if it's something physically on the actual console. A lot of people are saying because it's not going to be a disc tray.
It's got Microsoft logo on there to the Sony's. They didn't want anybody to.
That'd be hilarious.
Oh god.
Okay. Second point. He also said in that interview that the console is not going to be a triangle or a sphere. It will be a box. So you can count on it being a box. Which, okay, who cares? I did want to see the console. I agree with you there, just because, like I said, I'm a tech junkie. I like seeing shit like that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people did, but as far as his comment, it's all about what the box puts out, not about what the box looks like. That's a smart comment. I mean, okay. I'm with you there, okay. I mean, so long as it's not the size of my goddamn receiver for my surround sound, we should be good.
Well, let's see. If we look at the history of PlayStation consoles, usually their first console being much bigger than their second, third, fourth renditions.
Definitely.
Yeah, we'll see what the size is. Each console has gotten bigger. I mean, the PS3 was massive, and I still love my original 60 gig before it became a $600 paperweight of DL-like death.
Yeah, I miss my good old big old fat Sonya.
But the reason because of that was because it was essentially a PS2 with a PS3 shell around it. And that's literally what it was. The original PS3s, in order to play the PS2 originally, it was a PS2.
Right.
And then you had to build around that for the PS3 stuff. So if that's the case, with them being completely no BC this time around, and just having a Blu-ray drive and some USB ports, it could be interesting to see just what it looks like. I think that's, part of why they didn't show it as well, is because they were focused on actually getting this information out, which, fair enough. You do have to save something for later.
Yeah, and it was some damn good information, too.
It was. I was completely satisfied. I was expecting an hour conference. You
2
threw
hours.
2.5 at me. I was like, holy shit, okay. So
and they didn't let up. They just, technically people were complaining, oh, we didn't see the console, but technically they said see the future of PlayStation, meaning they wanted to share their vision of what the PS4 was going to be. Yeah. So in defense, they didn't do anything wrong.
No.
Yeah, and they showed some great stuff. I mean,
they did.
I was blown away by, they had a lot of stuff ready, but there were still a few hints in there of stuff that, like, with the Gaikai technology, stuff like that wasn't ready that we could look forward to, and that goes perfectly with what you just said, and that I like how that clicks, like, see the future, with the whole Panta Ray engine, this new engine that is being made.
Yeah.
Like, that just blew my mind when I was watching that Deep Down trailer. Like, I was looking at that, I was like...
You know what that was, don't you?
What?
That was Dragon's Dogma 2, was what that was.
Yeah.
Almost down to T.
Figured as much, but nonetheless looked amazing, and like the seamless integration from cinematics to gameplay without any visible difference, like that just blew my mind. And we saw that with Killzone as well, Shadowfall.
Yep.
But I mean, just that was just crazy seeing that, and I like how you said that. See the future, what's to come, and it just leaves it open, as we were talking about earlier with the whole. Are we ready for the console? Well, yeah, okay, now we have a new benchmark, a new starting point. Now there's so much more ahead of that we can look forward to.
And I mean, we won't see it for a couple of years still, obviously. Because that's just how these consoles work, is, you don't get the prime stuff.
Yeah, you gotta know how to work it. Yeah.
Right, exactly. With it being easy to develop for, that's a good start.
That's just going to make it happen sooner.
Good start, Sony. Better than the Cell, that's for sure. So... It's one of those things that, yeah, I think you guys are off to a good start. I think this conference was needed. There was a lot of hype going around, and I think they did well. I think they hit a lot of good points. I think the things that are bad, they didn't necessarily talk about in the conference, but after the conference, which was a good move. So that way, as not as many people hear about it right away. But the things that are bad are really bad. They're pretty bad. This whole no backwards compatibility thing, that
is a really big blow.
Yeah,
that's really bad. Now I'm hoping that they kind of announce for stuff that is coming out still, like The Last of Us, for example. I would like to see them include like a code for that. So if you do decide to get your PS4, you can put the code in and get the digital copy for free. Do it that way. I'm down with that.
That would be sweet.
Don't make me rebuy it. Will it happen? Probably not. Is it a smart move? Phenomenal move. It's, you don't get much better than that. I'm already pissed off that I'm going to have to rebuy everything else that I've already bought on my PS1 stuff, especially. Am I going to buy it again? Bet your ass I am, because I have to have my games. But I
suckered you in.
It wasn't a question of suckering me in. It was just that there's those games that I absolutely have to have. I have to have my Xenogears. I just do. As far as everything else goes, I'll be picky and I'll be choosy about it unless they go with this whole subscription model thing that I mentioned earlier. If they do that, I can see that fully working for them. I don't think people are going to enjoy, having to spend money to get access to their games again, but I think people would be willing to do it at a cheaper price. Don't charge me, $50 a month to do it. If you want to charge me a subscription fee kind of Netflix stature, I'd pay $15 a month to do it. If I get, yeah.
Mm-hmm. They would win a lot of subscriptions with that price. If you have the right price model,
and get you unlimited streaming of every game on there, yeah, I think people would be willing to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but I mean, again, this is me speculating. I don't know anything for certain. I do work at GameStop. Yes, I am higher up on the food chain than a lot of people at GameStop, but I'm not that damn high. I don't know. I don't know these things for certain. I'm just, speculating as a consumer and as somebody that sells, Sony products. So think things through for sure, because, there's what I said might not be the way to go. But it's not a bad way either, for sure.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we would hope to see, and I think Sony's really starting to get a good idea of what they need to do. Obviously, they need to refine it a little more, but again, we have time for that. And there is so much that we could, go on about what we want to see, what we expect to see. I just think I'm happy with the way the conference turned out. I'm really satisfied with what I saw, what to expect. Any final thoughts on the conference for you guys?
Basically, I'd say it was a very good conference. It was nice. There was no fillers. There was no Wonder Book presentation type of game to see.
Thank God.
Thank God there wasn't about like that 30-minute you on fast or anything like that. Everything there was intriguing and interesting to see. It got my interest peaked to see what the console's going to eventually look like, and also what other games we can expect to see as well as exclusives. While I'm not 100% sold on the console yet, it didn't have me go like I need to buy that day one. It did get me interested enough to say I can't wait to see Sony's conference at E3 because I really can't wait to see some games.
Right. I completely agree with that. I think it was one after another, just boom, 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 boom. One for the games, like it really was. Overall, I think the conference was elegant.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that felt that way? But I thought like the videos were really elegant.
It was done very well. It didn't seem like a conference. It almost was like a presentation, like a nice little. I mean, I know those are used synonymously, but still, like that was a damn show.
Oh, it was. It really was. I feel like I was really surprised to see the lack of Japanese people though. There was, for being a Japanese company, there was not a lot of Japanese people. I was expecting, Ted Kutaragi to pop up there. I was expecting Jack Tretton to pop up there. We didn't see either one of those guys. I was really surprised.
Not even Kaz Hirai. I was very shocked to see Kaz Hirai on that stage.
Yeah, Hirai especially, being, the grandfather, more or less, of PlayStation.
Yeah, I was really surprised I didn't see him.
No joke. Just the first guy that pops up, is a European. What? What are you doing here? and then we get an American. What?
What's going on here?
This isn't Sony.
An American that's not Jack Tretton. What?
Yes.
What in the world? But I mean, besides that, I think bravo to them. I think they built a lot of hype for this. I think E3 is going to be phenomenal this year, and I really want to go still. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it off like I was planning on, but I really, if I don't go, I'm going to really be kicking myself later for sure.
Yeah, this is an E3 that we're trying to go to as as well as the staff for the site.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the E3 that we're very interested in going to, mainly because to be able to get our hands on the PlayStation 4 and be able to, and we know that Microsoft's going to be showing their new console, and then I'm interested to see what Nintendo's got. I'm very interested to see what this E3 is going to hold for all three companies.
I was talking about going to this E3 for a while.
I was just gonna say, like,
I
in
told
the past,
you
like
this
a
was
year
gonna
ago,
be
you were like, this
Yeah.
one's gonna be the one next year.
I told you it was, and I don't know. I'm gonna talk to some people at work and see just what kind of reimbursement I can pull off for this as going as a GameStop rep.
Yeah, just tell them business trip.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
write it off as a business trip. That's it.
give me a shirt, reimburse me for airfare. I'll cover my ticket, and I'll cover hotel, and I'll go from there. I don't care if I got to spend $1,000 for the damn pass. I'll do
You
it.
guys are both lucky. I'm just me sitting.
Hey,
I'll
I wanted
get home.
you to go. I told you.
I want to go too, but I don't have the ins or the income
Oh, I hear that.
at all.
Here comes a big one.
It is. It is.
Because the airfare in the hotel is the killer.
That's what I wanted to ask about. Do we have price points planned out? Are you guys? What are we thinking for prices for this thing?
I'm thinking between $400 and $450, no higher.
So are you thinking just one SKU, or are we thinking different?
I think there's going to be 2 SKUs.
I'm thinking 2 SKUs. Maybe
I don't know what the difference is.
1 terabyte.
Yeah, I don't know what the difference is going to be. I don't know. 500 1 terabyte. That's big. I mean, you can't go small, obviously, with it. But
I think 5 is where if we're going digital as big as they're trying to push it, I think 5 is going to be your base for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be.
That would be impressive. I would be actually pleasantly surprised by that. I think there's going to be a 250 personally for the person who doesn't want to use it for a lot of games for some fucking reason. Because I mean, what they're trying to do. Yeah, they're trying to expand their audience and stuff. Well, 500 to someone else is going to be a little overwhelming in my personal opinion.
Right.
But as far as price goes, I think it's going to be a 450 and a 550. $100 difference, just
Okay.
a little higher on the spectrum there.
Okay. I mean, we've seen rumors. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen the rumors of like a 330 and a 430 model and all this shit. There's a lot of rumors out there for price.
Tons of rumors.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to say which one you want to actually go with. I will say this. The people that leaked all the information about the controller and all this other stuff for the streaming and all that, a lot of that was right. So if those same people are releasing price rumors, they might be something you want to pay attention to. As far as the actual SKUs and all that, I think they'll probably do 2 SKUs, just because you almost have to at this point. You have to have a cheaper one for people to kind of get going with, and then you have to have something that people actually have money for. So I think they're probably going to do 2 SKUs. I don't know the prices. I don't know if I want to. Probably, I can't see it being more than $500. If they go higher than 500, I think they're going to have an issue. If
even 500 is a steep one.
Oh, definitely for sure.
Oh yeah, I completely agree.
But I feel like if you want to sell stuff, you definitely have to be at least below 5. If you're going to go higher than 5, better bundle it in with something good.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, and that's what I'm thinking, because they're, like we said, they're bundling it. They're having the console. We know they're putting a headset and a camera in there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all these things, they're probably going to throw a game in with it, like the PS3 did.
See, I don't know.
I don't know.
You don't know because they didn't release what PS3 had a game with it at launch.
None.
Exactly.
I thought they did.
No, but that was solid console.
And realistically, the only game that was actually worth getting day one with the PS3 was Resistance.
Yeah.
That's it. Yep. Which is the reason I bought my PS3.
Man, I guess I lose my mind after however many years it's been, like 7, has it?
But
6?
when they first launch, they usually don't include a game. I mean, Nintendo included Nintendo Land, but
that's not a game.
Not really. I mean, it's a bunch of mini games, which is fine, but it's not,
Yeah, it's a fun multiplayer experience, but it's not a single player. It's not like the single player affair.
Right. You didn't include Super Mario.
And I'm still disappointed that Nintendo never did a Super Mario Brothers U bundle. I think that would have helped.
Now you have the zombie bundle, but
Yeah, which I don't know where the hell that was at launch, because I would have bought that one instead with the Freak.
Exactly. That's what a lot of people said, because it's a decent bundle. It really is.
Yeah, it's a great bundle.
So I think that I'm probably I have money set aside for this thing today. I was fully expecting to be able to pre-order it the next day as well. But I knew the stipulations behind it. I knew what Sony needed to do in order to do that. And once I knew they didn't do that, I knew we wouldn't do pre-orders. So I'm waiting for the day until we do. But I am fully prepared to spend $500 on the console by itself, and then whatever for the games. They did say that the games are going to be roughly the same price, so that's good. Controller is going to be a different thing. I've heard rumors saying that the controller could pop up to $70 a pop, which would suck, but I could fully see them doing it if they needed to. Controllers are already $55, so
Yeah, I mean, with the new technology with it, I mean, they gotta do something if they're not gonna bump the games up.
We'll see how it goes. I mean, you still can't buy Nintendo's gamepad separately yet. So what does that?
It's supposed to cost like $170 to $200 just to develop, just to sell it.
I mean, granted, there's no game that supports two of them yet, anyway. But people need to have. How many people are gonna go and just buy the console by itself? It ain't gonna happen. You're gonna have people that go buy the console. They're gonna need a second controller at least. Then they're gonna need at least one game. So, with all of that, how much are you looking? How much are you willing to spend and throw down on this?
Yeah, you pretty much add in like another $120 with the console price.
Exactly.
I mean, I look at when I bought my Wii U at launch. I bought the deluxe model. Then, of course, I bought the Wii U Pro controller. And naturally, the reason I bought my Wii U day one, and I know people who are watching this right now, they'll probably be like, "What the hell? You bought it for this?" Was Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge.
Gotcha.
But you know what? I reviewed it, gave it an 8.5. It was a dramatic upgrade to the PS3 360 version, which now PS3 360 is getting Razor's Edge on April 2nd. But no, I mean, then I found myself picking up, of course, Mario and stuff like that. But so far, like for example, the Wii U, I haven't regretted purchasing at all. Now PS4, like I said, I'm really hoping that to see a couple more games. I want to see what games are coming out day one. If Killzone and Drive Club are day one launches, then they've got me sold for day one.
I'm pretty sure Killzone. I have a good feeling that it's going to be. I mean, what's stronger title right now? Like you said earlier, Resistance was the game to have, the main game to have for the PS3, and we saw, at least I personally saw, a nice transition from Resistance being really popular, and then Killzone 2 started to take over. Now we're in like the Killzone era. I think it's going to be probably the strongest exclusive to start the PS4 off with. And I'm, Eli, you said you've got money set aside. I'm fully committed as soon as I get some money to spend a lot on this thing. Just a lot.
I have a grand set aside right now for this fund in general. Like I said, I'm willing to spend $500 of that on the console by itself. So we'll kind of go from there. But it's, it's just one of those things. You have to budget. People, they don't have the kind of money to just set aside like I do for this. But
I mean, we're just gonna have to wait and see what prices develop, where everything falls in place, and pick it based on your personal priorities, really.
Yeah. And I'm interested to see. Don't pull that launch window shit. Don't do that. The launch window is not 3 months after the console launches. That screws over the people that buy it day one. Exactly. Yeah. If you release it that same month, I'll give you that. 3 months later, no, because that's no. You don't have people buying it. You have to have those early testers. Is what it is. People they're always about, I don't buy consoles day one. I let the people buy it first, and let them work the bugs out and all that. Okay, but I'm going to be playing the console day one. That's what it's going to come down to. Right. I got my second PS3 from Sony for free. My first one, I bought the 60 gig day one, $600 console. And I used that until I got this free one from Sony. So that's kind of, that's just how it works for me. And that one would still be working today if the guy I sold it to wasn't a dipshit and, played Skyrim on it for 2 days straight. But whatever. Yeah. That was him being stupid. But still.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I'm fully on board for day one at this.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Definitely. But all right, let's branch off from the PS4. We nerded out on that enough. Not really. I could go for no more hours, but
I think we spoke about it almost as long as the conference itself.
Yeah, getting close. Which
getting close.
I love. But just wrapping up a few things here. The PlayStation Store update, I like to do that every week, or generally the store update, but because Xbox is finagly with there, it's hard to keep track of. For PlayStation Plus members, you got a few free things that you need to hop on and download. Vanquish, full game, normally $20. It's like a third-person crazy it's like a weird Crisis spin-off type thing. But pretty sweet. That's free.
Yeah, Vanquish is an amazing game.
I will be playing it, trying it at least again. I tried the demo. It was fun a while ago, and I liked it. But $20 for free, definitely.
And just to add on to that, just so people know, Vanquish is a game from the creator of the original Resident Evil series, Shinji Mikami. So just that alone is reason enough to just download it. I mean, he has 12 gigs, but you know what? That's one of the best games this generation and very underrated.
Yeah, I'm still downloading that thing from Tuesday. Damn college. I'm serious. I got 50% left to go. Ridiculous. That damn PlayStation Network. Anyway, also, Mega Man Maverick Hunter X. It's a mouthful. It's free for PlayStation Plus members, which is a Vita or PSP game. I'm seeing a lot of Mega Man recently. Mega Man 9 and 10 were also free, but that's cool. I won't play it, but it's fun. Dust 514, a nice little starter pack. Again, the starter pack is free for PlayStation Plus members. It's normally like $6, so grab that. Even if you're not going to grab the game anytime soon, I mean, grab it while it's free. And also, Urban Trial Freestyle came out this week. And Glacier, you said you want to talk a little bit about that because that was kind of like I don't want to say, well, yeah, it was like an under the radar type thing, pretty much, right?
Yeah, more or less. I mean, the developers, they've been putting a couple of a couple of posts about the game on the PlayStation blog. It is a game that's for both the PlayStation 3 and PS Vita. However, while there's no cross-buy for this game, so you'd have to buy both the PS3 and Vita versions separate. However, both versions, while they're more or less the same game, the PS3 version is better visually, and some of the level details are better, and so is the designs for them. But so far, it's more or less a Trials HD game that was for the PS3 now. You can kind of combine Trials with Excitebike, and it's kind of along those lines. Just beat it for the Vita this morning. Really cool game. A couple little things I wasn't crazy about, but overall, honestly, for the $7.99 price for the Vita, it's a great pick up and play game on there.
Sweet.
So there's a demo for it, so I might as well definitely give the demo a shot.
Yeah, I mean, it looks fun. It looks like not like a game you want to fully commit to for a while, but if you got some downtime or something, that's what it looks like. The game style for me, at least.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is.
Which is good, and that's why you got to pick PS3 or Vita. Like for games like that, I love to go Vita. Pick it up in between classes or something. That's great.
Exactly.
So look out for that. Check it out, the demo, and also something that's kind of close to my heart. There's some Sound Shapes DLC, more Sound Shapes DLC coming, which apparently they're saying it's going to be new beats and new ways to play, whatever the hell that means. But for those who don't know, Sound Shapes is a PS3, PS Vita game. Basically, it's a platformer with a bunch of awesome music that you can make and play on your own. And I played the hell out of that game for a while when it came out, for like a good 2 months after it, and subsided. But it's a lot of fun. The DLC is like really cheap, the most recent stuff, so I'm guessing the next one's going to be. So keep an eye out for it. That game is just it's great, and if you haven't grabbed it, just do yourself a favor, buy that game. You won't regret it for sure.
No, definitely a great game. Actually, picked it up when it was on sale a month ago.
There you go. I grabbed it when it was. I don't know if the cross-buy deal is still going on or not, but I grabbed it when it was. Yeah, so it's cross-buy. So it's like $10, I think. Yeah,
10 or 15, and hey, you can get double platinum. I got 2 platinum trophies out of those games.
Okay, first off, that platinum's a bitch. All right? Fuck that death mode, because that's ridiculous.
You know what? If it's one of those things, it's like a stroke of luck. You keep sticking with it, it just pops up.
Or you give up 5 minutes after trying because it's a bitch.
You could do that too.
I did. Whatever. I do not care about platinums that much. But man, all right. So as I always do with each podcast week, I like to do a community shout out, and this one goes out to, again, no one contacted me. Whatever, don't care. Some new members that recently arisen. Two of my friends actually. One is doing some like old PlayStation, some Nintendo playthroughs, some really cool, retro gameplay stuff. So you can watch out for that with some great commentary. His YouTube link will be in the description. He is Majestic Octavian. sounds kind of awesome. Another one is a good friend of mine and Eli's, and he's got into the PC scene, been doing a lot of miscellaneous PC gaming, doing a playthrough of Crysis 3 right now. Also has a lot of Battlefield 3 gameplay going on that will be uploaded soon. His name is Ghost of Sparta. His link will also be in the description, so check both of them out. Some great stuff going on there. Both of them are great guys and do a lot of good videos, so make sure to keep an eye out for them. Other than that, do you guys have any final comments about anything?
Boobs.
Boobs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Indeed.
Very good. On that note, that is the perfect hill to end on.
Yeah. Congrats on getting featured on the blog, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Very awesome.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. I found out through you, Glacier, actually.
Well, yeah, I was on the blog, and they're showing the community. I never click on the PlayStation community spotlight. For some reason, I clicked on it, and I see, username Vengeful Torture with this sound shapes. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was crazy because that was like the second level I ever made in Sound Shapes, and
That's good stuff.
Yeah, random as hell, popping up like 6 months later or something.
That, and then I also saw your tweet to the Killzone people.
Ooh, yes.
That was so funny.
I'm glad you appreciated that.
Oh yes.
I think I missed that one, unfortunately.
Oh, I saw their they changed their avatar for Killzone.com. They changed it to the cloaked Helgan assassin from the trailer.
Really?
And I was like, man, your avatar is the sexiest things I've seen since tits. They replied, they're like, thanks.
Please tell me they retweeted that.
I don't know. They replied. I didn't see a retweet.
Yeah, they replied. And
they
somebody
did
else
reply.
replied to it. It was awesome. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's
that
great.
made my night.
Oh yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
So, all right, guys. Well, that wraps it up. Thank you both for joining me on this podcast. Love having you guys.
Yeah, great to be here.
All right, so hopefully we'll do it again sometime. Obviously, you guys add some great commentary to it. But thanks for watching, everyone. Like, comment, rate, subscribe. Take it easy. So if you guys could, talk a little bit.
Boobs.
I love those. Those are great. No, let's get some talking at the same time.
All right.
Big
PS4
boobs.
this holiday season with a lot of titties.
A lot of titties.
Yes.
Oh, very good.
Lots of boobs.
Lots of boobs and tits.